Hello again, 1/6 scale firearms collectors. My microphone had a problem, so I'm voiceovering this thing, so my hand movements in this audio might not match, like right there. Anyways, we're looking at three loose rifles here. This first one is from this set here by a new brand to me, IQO. It's from apparently a Japanese World War II fighter. And the rifle itself is called the Type 100 SMG submachine gun. Okay, so this thing came from a box set, so these guns in general are really expensive. That's the IQO logo. 91004 is the box set I believe this SMG came from. Yeah, alright. So this rifle is actually made of wood and metal, which is really a nice, well, it's good and bad, which you'll see in a moment. First, the sling itself looks like it's made of cotton, not of synthetic, because it's so rough looking, but I could be mistaken there. Alright. It's got some metal clips to clip onto the gun. So this is real wood here. It's interesting that they would, machine a wood stock in 1/6 scale. But you can see the grain of it, and it's been stained. Then this is metal right here, a thin piece of brass probably painted black, and you have wood screws holding those bits in there. It's just a loose D-ring here for a different sling side, I guess. The trigger doesn't move at all. The front end though is just cast metal. So this is where you'll see some of the problems. Like these little holes in the barrel, I'm pretty sure on the real one those would actually pass air, but they're just blanked off here because it's die cast metal. And also the flash suppressor, those would be, passing air. If this gun was made of plastic, there would be air passing between those holes, but because they're metal, you can't get as tight of a detail. It's more durable, but it's just less accurate looking, right? Very similar to die-cast cars versus resin models. This cocking mechanism is spring-loaded. Okay. The bolt seems to be silver, black handle, and then it does open that. That is open, so that's kind of nice. This rear sight here is, a piece of metal as well. Sometimes these little slide adjusters can move up and down, but I don't think it will move. You can see the little brass pivot pin. Alright, so this magazine, it's actually brass, like sheet metal, stamped and bent into a magazine. You can see some of the black paint is chipped off where the brass is showing, and now you can see the bullet is also brass. So it's like a machined brass bullet. And you can see some air passing between, so that's how you can tell it's too thin to be plastic. And then I'm pushing this bullet down with my fingernail, so I think it's spring-loaded, although you'll never get the bullet out of there unless you bend the brass out of the way. Yeah, so pushing that in. Okay. So it's pretty neat. Yeah. There you can see some of the brass paint chipped away. So it's just blanked off inside the receiver, but slide it in here. It's a pretty loose fit. Maybe some poster putty would help keep that in place. You can also see I scratched off the paint as it just fell out. I scratched off the paint as I was sliding that metal on metal surface contact there. Yeah. So that doesn't seem like a very ergonomic design. Just having all that ammo sticking off the side. The gun must want to fall to the side, right? Twist. Strange. Okay. Well, it's interesting. I don't have this type of gun in my collection. That's why I bought it. It's probably the only Japanese Type 100 machine gun made of wood and metal. But maybe I'm wrong. I haven't been active in this hobby. This next one is by this brand Ujindou. This is new to me as well, this brand. It says UD 9006, I think, at the bottom for this box set. Some Viet Cong soldier. Yeah, alright. So the gun itself is called a K50 submachine gun. So I'm assuming it's got to be from Russia, or maybe it's a Chinese design gun, but some sort of communist country, I'm assuming. Okay. So this gun is all plastic. There's no metal or wood on this one. It feels very light. Or I might be mistaken because the buttstock here is so thin. But let's look at the wood grip here. So this is painted plastic. And they have some brown, dark brown streaks going through, but you can see they didn't get enough brown there, so you can just tell it's plastic painted. Now the stock again, it looks like it could be brazed brass, those joints. It's hard to tell. If it's plastic, that would snap pretty easily, so the stock could actually be made of metal. See how those joints are smoothed? You wouldn't mold that in plastic, so... Alright, but yeah, it slides out. I'm sure you could take it out all the way. Very basic, economical gun it seems to have been, in the real world. This is a weird magazine. I don't know why. Anyways, it's all plastic. There's still gold painted bullets there in part of the molding. But what's weird is there's nothing trapping the sides of the magazine. Right? What keeps it from swiveling left and right? It's strange. I've just never seen a gun designed like that. Unless that magazine is supposed to go higher up in that recess, but it's really odd to me. There's a big pin there, so I think you could probably slide this action forward, the top receiver up. A nice skeletonized front end there. The barrel's coming through it, and then this little sling mount actually swivels out, pivots out there, so that's pretty nice. The trigger is just plastic, doesn't move or anything like that. Yeah, it's pretty basic. It's definitely not as detailed as the last gun. The sights do work though, and it seems alright. So, let's see here. I think, let's slide this thing back so it doesn't snap off. There's the bolt. The bolt lever moves forward, but there's no bolt covering the bullets. It's kind of weird. Yeah, there should be a bolt that pushes those bullets up into the barrel, so it would be nice to have a piece of plastic cover the bullets when you move the lever forward. But it's just not visible. It's not there at all. So, yeah, that's not so good. Let's see if we can get this open. And yes, we can. So it will pivot on that big pin. So there's the bolt slide. But there's no front end to it. It's just a pretty basic rectangular block. So you could maybe set up a dio with the person, servicing their weapon or something like that. Pop that back down. Okay. Yeah, so it's alright. Again, I don't have a K50 SMG in my collection, so that's why I bought this one. Even though Ujindou, not the most detail, it's definitely not the most detailed brand of weapons that I've seen. Okay, this next one comes from this crazy set from Virtual Toys. It's called Red Death Wilderness Rider. So Virtual Toys, there's their logo, and it's from VM036, I think is the set. I can't tell. But this guy comes with all this crazy gear, all these different weapons, a shotgun, bow and arrow, dynamite, trout, of course, in the dynamite box there, one of the triggers, some booze. So he comes loaded with a lot of gear. So these weapons were pretty expensive because, again, this box set was probably pretty expensive, and so someone had to break up the box set to sell the weapons. So this first rifle here is called a Spencer rifle, and so you can see it's all plastic. Well, maybe you can't see, but I can feel that it's lightweight, so it's all plastic. But VTS, which is owned by Damn Toys, they generally do a good job. So even though this is plastic, you can see here on the stock, you know, the grain they simulated is a lot better. There's dark streaks, light streaks. The edges are like a darker brown than the middle, and then well, comparing to a real wood stock, it's not obviously as good as real wood, but it's still pretty nice, I think. Yeah, how it's brown on the edges and lighter in the middle. And then the brown actually covers the whole stock area, unlike that last gun. And so the metal parts are like a dark gray with a silver dry brush on it to make it look really aged. This little ring here. And then, no, I thought that would move forward. I'm pretty sure that's how you cock the real gun, but it's plastic, so I don't want to force it. Yeah, okay. Front end has some depth to the barrel. This sighting is just casted in. It won't flip up or anything like that. And this side, the cocking hammer, you would think it would move, but it doesn't seem to want to move. And being plastic again, I don't want to break it. Yeah, okay. The sling itself feels like it's like waxed cotton. It doesn't feel synthetic, but I could be mistaken there. I've never seen a sling like this, you know, but I don't collect old West firearms too often, so. Okay, well, it's pretty neat. You know, I don't have this rifle in my collection either, so I figured I'd pick it up. Alright, yeah, I guess I'm trying to figure out this hammer, but it doesn't want to rotate. So from the same set, we have this revolver, and I don't know what kind of revolver it is, a Colt Peacemaker or something, I'm not sure. The wooden grip on this one is a little bit lamer, but I do like the paint wash here. It looks really dirty, like they went over it with a brown wash after they painted it silver. The hammer does move back, so that's nice. That thing flips out. I'm trying to push the cylinder out. Some of them do that, but apparently not this one. You can see some bullet heads up in there. Yeah. No, I guess that doesn't come out. The cylinder. Oh well. What's neat is you can see the back end of the bullets there. You know, they're painted like a gold color, so they're different from the cylinder barrel, the rotating cylinder. So the barrel itself has some depth to it, and then that thing pops back there. That pops back there. So it's a pretty cool little revolver. It's one of the nicer revolvers I have in my collection now. Except for the wooden grips. Not so great. But still, pretty cool. Alright, well, that's an old collection of some older style guns. But I'm glad to have them. So, you know, search eBay or the internet for these things, Ujindou or Virtual Toys. I'll see you in the next review, guys. Thanks for watching.